Good evening, horror fans, and welcome to the very first ever Dread broadcast, a live horror roundtable where we cut into the headlines, resurrect the forgotten, and crawl deep into the crypts of physical media.
We're your hosts. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Tim, and together we run the Average Reviews podcast, where we laugh, scream, and argue our way through a variety of movies, new and old. But this is something new.
The Dread broadcast is our way of building a space where horror creators, critics, collectors, and curators can come together and talk about what's happening right now in the horror world.
Each month, we'll be joined by a rotating panel of voices from across the horror community to dissect the month's biggest headlines, spotlight hidden gems, and obsess over the physical media we can't live without. Think of it as part news desk, part seance, and part celebration of everything dark and weird that we love. We're diving into everything from box office numbers to festival buzz, trailer drops, surprise streaming hits, and the physical releases that are making collectors foam at the mouth. That's why you'll hear us talk about movies that are still in theaters or just hit streaming. Because if horror is a living and breathing thing, then every new release is part of that heartbeat. Whether it's a tentpole franchise or a micro-budget slasher that dropped on Tubi at 3 a.m. If it's part of the conversation, it's part of the Dread broadcast.
We're grateful to have you watching, whether you're here live or catching the replay. And we'd love for you to share the stream, drop a comment, and tag a horror friend who needs to hear this.
We're building a space for horror fans by horror fans. Each month, we'll bring back a few familiar faces, our mainstays who help anchor the show. And we'll also rotate in new voices from across the horror creator community. So if you're out there and you love horror like we do, and you've got something to say, reach out. We'd love to have you on. As someone on this very panel tonight once said, and I'm going to paraphrase this here, the things we love keep getting more expensive, but community is free. And that's the heart of the whole thing. Horror brings us together. Let's keep that door open. Now, with that said, let's meet tonight's panel of fellow Dreadheads. We've got a killer lineup of creators joining us for this debut episode of the Dread broadcast. So when I say your name, you can plug your show, plug what you do, plug the things that you love. It's your moment. So in the cutting room, where the critics dissect the latest horror films and series, we have Travis. Are you there? We have David from Journey with a Cinephile. David.
Yeah, glad to be here. My podcast you can find pretty much anywhere you find podcasts. I have a few different shows that are underneath that kind of umbrella, and then I also do a blog where I do written reviews, and that is horrorreview.webnode.com.
Awesome. And then filling in tonight, we have Evan from The Kilt and the Redneck. So, Evan.
Me and my co-host, Ian, we just talk about movies every other week, or sometimes we talk about music, just everything all around. And horror is something we are getting into for the next couple weeks. So we're excited to talk about some horror tonight.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. The Curio Cabinet is where we talk about hidden gems and indie horror deep dives. Aaron is heading up our Curio Cabinet tonight. Aaron.
Yes. Hey, Tim, Jonathan, thank you for having me on. So I'm the co-host of A&B Horror Movies on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram at A&B Horror Movies, and I'm also Aaron's Movies 8587. So yeah, I've got some indie films I plan to share. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear. You always have an amazing stack of mostly things I haven't heard of. So I'm excited to see what you brought for us tonight. The Crypt is our vault of physical media lovers and collectors. We have Steven from After Hours Video.
What's going on, everyone? You guys can find me at After Hours Video on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. And then I'm one of the hosts on Beyond the Blood podcast as well.
And speaking of Beyond the Blood, we have Chris.
Hey, so I go by Bearded Film Guy on the internet. I'm a horror writer and physical media writer. I guess you can consider that podcaster. Founder and host on the Beyond the Blood podcast on Someone's Favorite Productions Network. And I'm stoked to be here. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, excited to have you. And then filling in tonight, we advertised that the movie den would be here, but life happens, and we have GC from Face the Movies filling in that spot. Thank you so much for stepping up and being here tonight.
Dude, thank you so much for having me, guys. It's awesome to be able to hang out with you guys tonight. And for me, you could find me on YouTube and Instagram at Face the Movies. I have an X/Twitter as well. Don't use it too much, but Instagram and YouTube's the way to go. And I do have a podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's called Friday Night Fright Night. I'm on season 2 right now, episode 3. So yeah, that's where you could find me.
Awesome. And Travis, are you back? Okay, Travis is not back. So we'll let him introduce himself when he gets here.
Well, either way, hooray for episode 1 and for all of you guys being here. Super awesome. Glad for it. So stick around. We've got a packed episode ahead. Got a lot of stuff to talk about.
And before we get on into all of that, we have a special treat. Our very first guest is one of the rising names in modern horror fiction. He's the mind behind Mean-Spirited, The Exorcist House, and Anathema. I got your 2 right here. Yep. And more. So, Nick, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. There's really nothing I like more than talking about horror movies, books, whatever. So the pleasure is all mine.
Awesome. So I'm excited to have you. I reached out. Your book, The Exorcist House, is one of my favorite. I don't know what you would classify it as. It's one of my favorite haunted house paranormal books that I have ever read. Oftentimes sticking the landing on those, I think, is extremely challenging. And this book nailed the landing on it, and I love it. So we are honored to have you here for our very first episode.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to completely credit my editor at Crystal Lake Publishing for that, for helping me stick the landing, because that final scene would not be there had this editor not requested more of a story. They wanted an extra scene. So I think I give all the credit to whichever editor that was. I'm blanking out, but yeah.
All right. So your books, I'm going to ask you a couple questions here. Feel free to answer however you want. Talk about as much as you want or as little as you want. But before we get into your books and your process, you had a big week, some big announcements on your own social media. Do you want to highlight any of those? I know there is a comic book coming out soon. You dropped a chapter of your serial novel.
Yeah. So, well, before I get into that, man, the biggest thing that's happened this week is I've had a great theater week. I got to see some cool movies, and I got completely wrecked by Bring Her Back.
Oh yeah,
that
is on the schedule later. We will be diving into that. Yep.
I'm just still recovering from it, and I literally just finished writing the novel I'm currently writing. Like I just finished the session before I jumped on here, so my brain is still somewhat in that world. But yeah, so the comic book that I announced, I was asked a little over 2 years ago if I was interested in writing a comic book script for this project called The Darkest Depths through Crystal Lake. And my buddy James Aquilone, he's the one who reached out. He was putting together this collection, and the first thing I said was, I have no idea how to write a comic book. Like what does a comic book script look like? Like I know what screenplays look like. I've read screenplays. I've written screenplays, but I didn't know like exactly how I would write a comic book. So he just sent me samples of other comic books scripts. And once I saw that you write it by panel, you how to write sound effects, how to write the dialogue, and then it just came naturally. It was
Mhm.
like I'm a visual storyteller. I think more so than anything else. So being able to write around an image was perfect for me. So I'm thrilled that this collection is finally coming out. It's like I said, it was like 2 years ago, but the guy who was spearheading it, Taylor Grant, he he got diagnosed with cancer and actually passed away in
Oh
that
no.
in that time. So that obviously put a halt on the project, and James Aquilone picked it up. Crystal Lake Publishing had to jump in and help out. And the cool thing with this Kickstarter for this comic book is that all of the proceeds are going to Taylor's family, because he had a son, I believe, at least one son. But yeah, it's the money. Any of the extra money is going to his family. So not only are you going to get a killer lineup of authors, some are seasoned comic book writers, and some are like me who have never written a comic before. But yeah, you'll get that, and and you're supporting a good cause. And like I said, it is a Kickstarter, so there are like lots of other tiers and perks that you can get along with the comic.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I definitely need to check that out more. I saw that you posted the first two pages of art,
Yeah.
and the art looks incredible. So I read a lot of comics, and I'm an artist myself. I'm very picky on art, and your artist nailed it. It looks really, really good. So I'm excited to get into that.
Thank you, thank you. It's surreal to write a scene and then look down and see on that page that he captured exactly what was in my head.
That's
awesome.
I
awesome.
mean, it's bizarre, and I can't wait to see the rest. Like, I've only seen those first 2 pages, so I'm thrilled.
All right. And so you also teased, I'm not even sure it was a tease. It was the synopsis for the third book in this series, correct? Was
Yes.
that came out this week?
Yeah, well, I posted it on my Patreon a little before that, but I got the approval and the go ahead from Crystal Lake that I could post the official synopsis for The Exorcist House Resurrection, and it comes out September of this year. And like, so many people were asking me what this third one was going to be about,
I'm
because
curious as well.
the series kind of has a sister series called Anathema, and they kind of weave together. So readers of both of those, readers of that universe, were kind of curious, like, at what point in this timeline are you going to focus on? And there's really only one missing link right now, and it takes place after the events of the Exorcist House Genesis and before the events of Anathema.
Okay. I just finished Anathema on, it was Thursday. I've read the two Exorcist House books already. I loved Anathema. I was on the edge of my seat. One of the things you do writing that I really, really love is that, I don't want to say you're a slow burn, but you really establish the characters and get me connected to what feels like very human people. They feel real. They feel familiar, like I know them, or in many ways relate to them on multiple levels. How do you go about writing those characters? Where do your ideas come for these characters and what they're about to, the horrific events they're about to go through?
Well, thank you for saying that. Anathema, more than any of my other books, gets referred to as a slow burn. It was my first novel. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I I didn't have a structure. I didn't have an outline. I was literally writing it like I was watching a movie in my mind. So I would just write, okay, this is what's going to happen in this scene. And then I would just keep writing scenes. And then I ended up with the story. And so regarding character, I always just try to get two people talking. That reveals more about the character than any like descriptions I can provide. Like I don't like to even talk that much about physical characteristics with characters. I've learned a lot about showing and not just telling when it comes to characters. So horror works at its best when you care about the characters. I think it's truly frightening whenever you're invested in a character and then they go through a scary experience. Now, of course, you have like your slashers that are where the monster, the Jason, the Freddy, they're the stars, and you don't really
Right.
necessarily have to care about the characters. But like, I think genuinely scary horror, it starts with character. As I honestly don't know that I have like a specific method for like developing a character other than, okay, here's a name. I'm going to write the name on the paper, and let's see what this name does. Let's see how old it is, and like I said, dialogue in that first draft is just where the characters come alive for me. Especially if I put like a certain dialect. Yeah, so
which most of your books, because I haven't read all of them yet, they take place in a similar location.
yes.
So how does the location and does the location affect your writing? How do you come about? So you said Anathema, you wrote scene by scene. Has your writing process changed? Do you outline a little bit more now? Is there more that goes into it planning wise now? Has that process changed for you over time?
It's been different with each book. After I wrote Anathema, I learned that like Anathema is like heavier themes. It's darker, and I was heavily influenced by like Clive Barker on this interview that he gave where he said, be unapologetic in your horror. And I really had some things that I needed to get off my chest in that first book. So with The Exorcist House, I was like, I just want to have a good time. Like, I just want to have a nonstop thrill ride, scare fest. But like I said, I also want it to be about this family that you either, I mean, you're going to have some sort of reaction to this family. Like some people love the characters, some people hate them because they think they're stupid for making certain decisions. So with The Exorcist House, it was just about entertaining myself more than anything. And then with Mean Spirited, that came about because of fan and reader reaction to The Exorcist House, in particular how they related to the dog Buck in The Exorcist House. And I got like this
I was mad about Clark in Anathema, by the way, so I'm still a little upset about that one, but
spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I didn't know any better when I wrote Anathema, and in my defense, this was Clark, the German Shepherd in Anathema. His ending happens off screen, if you
Thankfully.
will. You just hear an absence of barking, and then like I said, I didn't do that arbitrarily. I didn't do that to just make this villain seem more vile. that dog was that kid's protector, and it was his confidant, his friend. And by the villain in Anathema ending that, he now had to fully rely on that villain. So I believe nothing is off limits in fiction as long as it services the narrative. That's just my personal belief. I'll write about anything and explore any topic if it is warranted in the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What was the original question?
You started where your characters come from. Are there real life inspiration for how you craft your characters? 'Cause there's a strong family bond in your books, and usually it's, and I say strong, and what I mean by that is even sometimes it's a broken family bond issue where not everybody is perfect, but they're going through this as a family. And that's one thing that really draws me in. That's a hook for me that I care about, because we're all flawed human beings trying to make our way through life. And so that is something that I grasp onto in your books pretty quickly. Oh, there you are.
Sorry, somebody
No.
just tried to call me on my phone. I didn't hear the tail end of your question.
I just said the characters are something that I grasp onto pretty quickly. So is there your inspiration for the characters?
Like in relation to why I write like family dynamics?
Yeah. Yep.
I tried to explore like different types of dynamics that interest me. With Anathema, it was a very personal book. It has semi autobiographical elements to it. It's a young couple with a rocky past trying to get their life back together and have a fresh start. The character, when I wrote that character Brian, he was around my age. When I wrote The Exorcist House, and I wrote Daniel, he's older than me. He has a daughter who's older than my daughter. I have an 8-year-old daughter. I think Alice is almost 17 in The Exorcist House. And the daughter-dad relationship in The Exorcist House is what kind of drew me into that family, because I was like, I thought it would be interesting to think about how I would interact with my daughter when she's that age. Like if she was doing these things, how would I handle it as a parent? So that was fun to explore. Also with the Hill family dynamic, I wanted Daniel and Nora to like dig each other, there's lots of movies and books where the married couple either just at odds or boring or whatever, but I wanted them to go through this discovery of what's going on in this house together, like as a team. And I wanted to do the opposite of that with Mean Spirited. So in Mean Spirited, it's a completely different family dynamic. It's a couple that's separated and they're sharing custody of their young son. And I wanted to explore that side of the, I guess, traditional family dynamic of shared custody, and having this main character, Matt, having him watch his ex-wife Lucy move on with her life while he is still stuck in his alcoholism and still fixated on her. So that's kind of what drew me into that. When I was talking with a film studio about Mean Spirited, the best compliment I got from this producer was that he said, you can take the dog, you can take all the scares out of this book, and it's still a compelling family drama. It's still a compelling narrative. And that's, if I can achieve that with my books, then I think I've done a good job with the characters.
Yeah. So now I need to pick up Mean Spirited. I have not picked that one up yet, but now I'm sold on it.
So that's the one that my readers, they pretty much across the board prefer that. Even though The Exorcist House is the most popular one and the best selling one that I've released, the readers who have discovered Mean Spirited are like I see this a lot in different Facebook groups. They're like, well, if you like The Exorcist House and you were scared by that, wait till you read Mean Spirited. And I intentionally set out to write the scariest book I possibly could. Because at the time when The Exorcist House came out, in this one group in particular on Facebook called Books of Horror, they were comparing it to Stolen Tongues. And Stolen Tongues scared me in a way that few books do. And the fact that I got compared to that book was flattering, but it also made me realize I have to step my game up with the next book. So when I started Mean Spirited, literally the working title was the book that has to be scarier than The Exorcist House and Stolen Tongues. And I just started with a girl brushing her teeth at midnight and someone knocks on the door downstairs, and it just goes from there. A dog was never meant to be involved.
So are you a dog person? Because you have a dog in every book.
Yeah,
or at least the ones I've read.
I've had dogs my whole life. I worked at a no-kill animal rescue for a while.
That's awesome.
So my thing is, I just I had that dog in Anathema, like I said, for a reason. The child needed a protector because he had witnessed his parents go through some tumultuous shit, and his dog was like who he could sleep with, who he could cuddle with. So by the time I wrote The Exorcist House, and I wrote about Buck, this bloodhound that's loyal to the man who lives on the farm.
It's a good boy.
Yeah. And I saw the fan reaction to that. I was just like, okay, people really care about dogs. So
it's true.
That helped me with Mean Spirited, and I don't have a dog in Anathema Legacy, I don't think, and I don't have one. I don't have one in the book I'm writing now. So
okay, so we get a brief break from dogs for a little bit. So
Nick, in September, Exorcist House 3 comes back, so Buck will be back in September.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. So I do believe I am the only person on the panel that's actually read your books. How would you sell it to? I mean, we have the synopsises, but from your perspective, what's the hook to your books that makes them different? I mean, I've already talked for me. I draw onto your characters. I also think your type of horror that you're writing is difficult to accomplish and accomplish well, and you do that. That's why I keep coming back for more. It's very different than the slasher horror novels that I also read and thoroughly enjoy for very different reasons. So how would you sell your brand of horror and what you're accomplishing in your books?
Well, thank you for that. I want my name, my quote unquote brand of horror to be synonymous with scary, unsettling, creepy, and haunting, and for it to have some heart. Like like you said, I love reading books about. I love reading extreme horror. I love reading just classic ghost stories. I love every subgenre out there. However, the books that affect me and the ones I enjoy reading the most are the ones that unsettle me or get under my skin, that make me question the way I look at things. And
Oh yeah.
some examples of those are like The Exorcist,
Mhm.
House of Leaves, Pet Cemetery, even like American Psycho. Even though that's not meant to be like creep out scary, it messed my mind up in a way
Yeah.
because it made me hold my thoughts accountable and made me realize, wow, I have some pretty disgusting thoughts as well. How many other people are like this? So
Oh, everyone's twisted. There's no doubt about that. We're all messed up in the head.
yeah. But yeah, so bottom line, the short and sweet answer is I want people to pick up a Nick Roberts book and be like, okay, this is going to be scary. This is one of those books I'm going to have to keep in the freezer in between chapters.
Awesome. So, panel, any other questions? Just listening to Nick. Any comments?
I mean, so I was thinking about this. I once heard Eli Roth say in a podcast that when he went back and he rewatched Cabin Fever after so many years, he never realized how much influence he brought into that directly. Do you ever find, as a horror fan, yourself bringing in what you love that other horror creators have done? And when you do you ride with it because imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, or do you try to twist it enough that way nobody can connect the two?
That's a good question. So there are certain times when I'll directly reference things like the Exorcist in the Exorcist house. His name is Merle Blatty, and the author of The Exorcist is William Peter Blatty. So, I mean, that's pretty on the nose. As far as like tropes and things like that, I love playing with tropes. They're tropes for a reason, but I like to subvert them. As far as like other authors and other works, it can be very easy for me to be reading a book by an author with a very distinct voice, and then I'll be writing, because I write every day. I'll be writing, and suddenly, like, just that tone or that cadence of that author's voice, I'll find coming out. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. But I'll say this: I got asked to contribute to an anthology about horror westerns, and I started to write. I wrote the first page and I sent it to one of my friends who likes westerns. I was like, "What do you think about this?" He says, "It sounds like you're trying to write a fucking western, and it does not sound authentic whatsoever." And I said, "Okay." And I went and I took No Country for Old Men, and I read the opening monologue by the sheriff, and I had Cormac McCarthy's voice in my head. I had the cadence of that sheriff. It was no longer about describing the scenery or the horse or the guy riding the horse. It was just a total mood and vibe change. And so yeah, like there I had to like directly go and seek help from like one of the masters. But and I've admitted to this before, like I said about Stolen Tongues and how much that book affected me. There's in the prologue to that book, it features a parrot that a lot of people say is one of the scariest prologues ever written. So after I wrote The Exorcist House and I was writing Mean Spirited, and I had it in my mind. I was like, I'm going to outscare stolen tongues. I put a parakeet in this kid's bedroom. So yeah, I told Felix Blackwell, the author, I said, hey, just so you know, I directly stole your prologue parrot factor. I just used a parakeet instead. And so he was like, he's one of my friends, so he doesn't care.
Nick, can I ask you, were there certain, like, I guess, like early on when in your writing experience, were there certain movies or directors that you felt like you drew influence from or have kind of helped guide your writing style as time has gone on?
Oh, absolutely. Like I grew up as a cinephile first and foremost. I was reading screenplays and writing screenplays and watching movies nonstop. I had so much physical media that my mom had to keep on buying VHS towers to throw in my room. And but yeah, the biggest influences from cinema that impact my writing would be definitely Quentin Tarantino,
Okay.
Paul Thomas Anderson. Um, like as far as specific movies, the action. Oh, I don't know what I was about to say. The actress, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre has it in some way that movie comes out in my work in one way or another. That movie is ingrained in my psyche. So yeah, and trying to think. I really liked. I was really blown away when I watched Creep Show as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one.
Oh,
Oh, we lost him there for.
No, man down.
Oh no.
Too bad.
I had a good question. Come back.
Can you hear me now?
it's like I've had enough. I'm done.
We can hear you, but we can't see
Am I
you.
back?
Yeah, we can hear you, but not see you.
Hello.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yep.
Oh, schnitzel.
Oh, too bad.
Mama,
Okay.
can you hear
Am I
me?
back yet?
Oh,
There it
there we
is.
go.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, back in.
Nice.
Nice.
Am I here?
Okay. Last we heard was Creep Show.
I cannot hear you guys if you can hear me.
Oh man,
We can.
we can hear you.
Yeah.
Check your audio settings, I guess maybe. Yeah. Hooray, technology!
Never
Love it.
fails. Yes,
Love it.
absolutely.
Unless the AirPods. Oh.
See any. And Travis just jumped back in too. I don't know if we can.
I feel bad for him, man. He's been popping in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
In and out.
Yeah.
Oh, we can hear you. Okay.
Hey.
Oh,
You're finally back. We can't see you, but we can certainly hear you.
My stupidity and the malfunctions, Tim, but I think I've got it going on.
Hey, we got
That's all
everybody
right.
back.
You're here, though.
And we got Nick back. We got Nick back too. So can you hear us now?
I can. I'm on a delay right now because I'm seeing myself move like 5 seconds into the future. So as long
Good
as y'all
times.
can hear me, that's fine.
Yep.
Nick,
So we lost. We're talking about Creep Show.
yes.
Oh no.
Every time we say that word, like his thing just freezes.
First word,
I know.
Bringing it up.
No more. Don't say the C word anymore.
Yeah.
Cucumber?
I'm not going to bring up that show anymore.
Hopefully, nobody has it on their list.
Comic book revival that has.
Exactly. And don't mention the third one. That's even worse.
Yeah, right.
Man. He just full froze this time.
Uh-oh.
That's like a signal.
Okay.
Mm.
Signal's low.
Yo.
I'm gonna give him another shot. If not, we will dive in. Travis, you're all good. You're hearing us. You're communicating.
I'm here.
Okay, so if Nick doesn't hop back on in a second, we'll jump into Travis. Did you want to kick off the reviews, or you want me to do that?
Do your thing. I'm gonna follow
Oh.
your lead.
Yeah, I think he's back.
Okay, well,
There he is.
Nick is
Nice.
back. So we're
Hopefully.
not going to mention that show again.
Nick, before I lose you, man, I got a question for you.
What show?
So,
Yeah, exactly.
so for your writing process, right? I know there's certain writers out there that have kind of like this superstitious routines. Like there's people out there that have to have like a certain drink before writing, or people that usually have to have like a nap before, like just random stuff. I know for me,
Misery.
like one of my things for hop.
Did
like,
we
from-
lose
for
people?
my
No, we're good, bud.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like somebody's missing
Yep.
on the thing. Oh, but
Maybe we did.
but yeah, so for me, it's like I need to write on a typewriter, like on an old school typewriter. There's something about it that really just influences me and gets the creative juices flowing. Just because whenever I get on a computer, like I have a mechanical keyboard just to try to mimic it, but even then, it's just something about just knowing that if I mess up, on the typewriter, it's like there and just being fully disconnected. Do you have anything like that you do before writing that gets you, I guess, gets you warmed up or gets you going?
Is he thinking super hard, or did he hear?
Can you hear
He said
us?
he was on a delay.
He's on a delay.
Is it a long delay? Nick, can you hear us?
Who?
You?
I'm back now.
Oh, that question was directed to you.
I didn't even hear a question.
Yeah, sorry.
I've just been sitting in silence.
Oh, crap.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
Oh, I was thinking for a second. I was like, oh man, I hope my mic's
What's
not
the
on mute.
question?
No, it was just, man, pretty much like, do you have any like routine that kind of gets you warmed up
What was
for
the
like
original
writing?
question?
The what?
I don't think he can hear GC for some reason.
Yeah, can he not hear?
No,
Can you
he
hear
can't.
GC?
I can hear everybody
That's
else.
The hell?
okay.
The hell?
So he is asking. That is wild and random. He is
Yeah, he-
asking if you have any routines that you go through to write. Is there
Any
a
warm-ups?
ritual of sorts
Yeah,
that
creative
you
process. Yeah.
Yes, there is a discipline that I maintain because it hasn't really failed me yet. I try to write a certain word count every day, and I'll write ideally I'll write like 1,000 words in the morning. I'll get out and go to the gym and do like business stuff on where I anything related to like packaging and signing books or working out. All the boring aspects of being an author I'll do in the afternoon, and then I'll go pick up my kids and have family time in the evening. And then once everybody's asleep, I'll try to knock out another 1,000 words. So on an ideal day, it's a minimum 2,000 words, and my novels are about 80 to 100,000 words. So
Wow.
yeah, I can, as long as I stay on track, I can crank them out fairly quick.
Okay, awesome. One more before we dive into the news portion of the show. Anybody else got a question?
I have a quick question. Do you have a holy
Yeah.
grail of a book that you have like the first edition? So I love The Collector by John Fowles. I have a signed first American edition. Do you have something similar?
If somebody's asking a question, I can't hear you.
You can't hear.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Aaron is asking if you have a holy grail book, a collector's edition book.
Yes, I have. I'd have to go upstairs to grab it, but any chance I have to show it off, I want to do it. But it's a Centipede Press limited numbered edition of American Psycho, signed by Bret Easton Ellis and Ben Baldwin, the cover artist for this edition, and John Langdon, who wrote a foreword in it, I believe. I was just randomly on eBay one night and I typed in American Psycho first edition. And then I saw all these first editions, and then I saw this one book cover that I had never seen. And I clicked on it, and it was a limited run. So there were only, I believe, 600 of these books made. If that. It may be maybe less than that. But yeah, so it's a big book with illustrations. You open it up and like the inside flaps are chainsaws.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I almost got divorced over impulse buying that book.
Damn.
It's relatable.
Yeah.
Especially on eBay.
When my wife saw how much that thing cost. But yeah, that was my holy grail. Now I have a white whale that I'm chasing, and if this movie deal goes through, I am going to get it. It is a first edition signed copy of Blood Meridian, Cormac McCarthy.
Oh yeah, dude.
It
my fucking god.
Cost $21,000.
Oh, gee.
Oh my
Shit.
Yeah,
Almighty.
I have a rare book dealer that I get all my stuff from, and he actually connected with
That's
a guy
crazy.
who writes books about Cormac McCarthy. And these first edition, first printings of Blood Meridian rarely come up for sale, let alone autographed. So, and like an unsigned first edition of Blood Meridian can go for like $8,000.
Jeez.
So to have a signed first edition, first printing in that good of condition is like finding a Picasso painting. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
So when I asked him how much it was, and he said $21,000, I said, okay, well, yeah, if I get a movie deal, that's my that's my Ferrari that I'm going to.
Yeah.
Hell
It's
yeah.
good to have personal goals like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I just reread that book, Nick. Whatever in creation exists without my knowledge exists without my consent. Like that's one of the
Yes.
best lines. That is such a beautiful, even though I don't understand everything that he writes in that book because of his prose, like the words he chooses.
Yeah.
I had to look up what the jacks were. I'm like, oh, it's an outhouse. Nice. But yeah, it's so beautiful, and that's a great Ferrari to have in your as a goal when you blow up with that Hollywood money, cuz.
Yeah. That book is like to recommend it to someone. You also have to recommend reading the Old Testament, reading William Faulkner, reading Hemingway, and
Yeah.
once you have all that, and then you go into Blood Meridian and you see that he's using all of their techniques and he's referencing all of these things and doing it better. It's like Cormac is just a master of literature.
Oh yeah.
There will never be another one like him.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for answering our questions, hanging out with us, and talking about your work. And now we're going to dive into the news portion of the show, starting with the cutting room. And Travis, you're kicking us off, are you not? You ready?
Yeah. There was two things I wanted to cover real quick. Oh wow.
Nice.
Okay, well, we'll cover it real quick, but then you're talking Final Destination Bloodlines.
Oh well, never mind. I'll talk Final Destination Bloodlines. The legacy. This is kind of like a legacy franchise at this point because it started when we were all. I mean, we were all probably in middle school, high school, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
and it had been, I think, 14 or 16 years since the last one. And honestly, I was kind of expecting a ho hum sort of revisit to the franchise, something like it's basically the template of what the previous Final Destination films had given us.
Mm.
Well, seeing this in theaters was a complete surprise. I want to argue, and I'm not going to go into spoilers for any of the movie, but the opening, like every Final Destination film, has to have that great big opening that sets off, the chain of events for the plot, and it's always with the premonition. So you at least know that walking in. And I want to say that this opening for Bloodlines is maybe the best, if not it rivals part two, which a lot of people have, fondness for, nostalgia for, fear for. Like no one's driving behind logging trucks anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I grew up in a mill town, so like when that came out, and like everyone's in traffic, and just long trucks everywhere, and you're just like, dude, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Down here in Louisiana, we got like sugarcane trucks, so the worst you're gonna get is just like a little bit of vegetation flying against your windshield. But
Get a little sweet.
yeah. But no, the opening of this movie definitely sets the stage and lets you know that this is going to be a blockbuster horror film. And so far, the movie is the highest grossing in the franchise. It's still in theaters right now. So
That's after like what, 2 weeks?
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
very much so. And what I like about this movie is that it turns death into this cosmic force where, listeners of the Nightclub podcast know we like to shoehorn everything into cosmic.
Yeah, you do.
But I think this movie does a really good job setting up how the entity of death is kind of like they almost make it to where it's like death is sort of a bookkeeper or like an accountant of souls. So it's like it's indifferent to humanity or like whatever your goals are in life, whatever your strife is. It's not worried about that. It's just like you were supposed to die. I'm going to make sure that you die. It's going to be a Rube Goldberg effect, and it's going to look awesome.
That's what I love about the movies.
Yeah.
Rube Goldberg stuff.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I think we all as horror fans come to these movies for the amazing kills. Like that's pretty much what these movies have set up for, what's expected, what the story is going to give you. This new movie, this new entry, I think kind of elevates it because instead of just some random group of people, it's an actual family that's involved.
I agree.
And I would say it has some of the most likable and endearing characters in the franchise, especially the character Eric, one of the brothers, one of the cousins' brothers. I don't know. It's a family. But he was great. I think everybody in this movie was really awesome. I guess I was just blown away by it. How many of you guys had seen the film this month?
I have.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah,
I saw it.
Yeah.
Great.
Same. Yep.
Wow, so everyone has seen it. See, there you go.
Nope.
I have it.
I have not.
Oh, y'all. Oh, my bad.
Negative.
No, it was
Two hosts are the only ones who haven't seen the film. Shit.
it was between Final Destination or Bring Her Back last night.
You made the right
My
choice.
wife was Bring Her Back. So
Very
I
different film.
I can't hate on you for that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. This movie was just like a breath of fresh air on a bigger scale. I also saw that on Instagram they were posting, because a lot of people kind of complain about the CGI aspect of some of the kills, and I'm like, I hear you, but for a long time that's kind of what they've been doing.
Yeah.
But on Instagram they were posting videos of behind the scenes footage of how they pulled off the practical parts of some of the kills in the film. And I thought that was awesome. I'm like, so they did a good blend of CG and practical. And I will say, seeing it on the big screen, I didn't notice the CG like that. I thought it was blended very well. So the folks that did see it, I mean, what did you think of the new Final Destination movie? Does it rank up there with like maybe one of the best ones, or were you a little let down by it?
I want to say, man,
I put it under
Oh,
two.
okay.
I loved it, and I think it had Tony Todd's farewell performance going for it.
Yeah.
Dude, I got teary eyed during that scene, and at the end of when it has the in memory of Tony Scott or Tony Todd,
Tim, cover your
I
ears.
I I lost it. You know,
Mm.
he was the
I've-
first celebrity to ever interact with me on social media.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
I
right,
loved it too. I didn't mind the CGI. I thought it was fantastic. It was very entertaining. And seeing some of the behind the scenes of how they created it, like there's a garbage truck scene. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I saw a clip of how they made it look like something really bad happens to one of the characters. I'm trying to be spoiler free. I don't know. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun at the theater. It was a fun night out. Popcorn was great. I had a good time.
I thought it felt like a very refreshing take on like the series, especially after revisiting after what would we say, like 14 years since the last entry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I thought it was like refreshing. I felt like I would kind of giving it some time to kind of digest. I mean, I would definitely put it up there, you know, and I think the family dynamic was an interesting take on it. So I'm happy to hear that it's doing really well. And like Nick was saying, I felt like it was super bittersweet with Tony Todd. It's just kind of, I don't know, just kind of tough to see him like that, you know.
I thought, man, like for me, it was interesting because no matter what, like even if people would have said it was the worst movie ever, I would have still watched it just because, you know, like you said, and Travis, that we all kind of grew up with that movie. I mean, for me, I believe I was just getting into high school when the first one came out and owning it on VHS and all that. I went into it with, honestly, I tried to go in with, you know, an open mind, because I was very afraid that they were going to do something where there was going to be an agenda with that movie, or just pretty much just ruin it, you know. But you know, being surprised of the fact that I was expecting it to be so much worse, especially the fact that what they were putting on the trailers, right? Like I felt like, man, they're spoiling a lot of it. And then you watch the movie and it's kind of like they played that mind game where certain things in the trailer didn't plan out like you think they were going to.
Totally.
And to touch with the CGI, man, the reason I was a bit disappointed was because of the fact that I thought, you know what, after 14 to 16 years, I would have figured, you know, the catastrophe of Final Destination 4 with the whole NASCAR and all that. I figured, you know, maybe they learned with the whole CGI to make it better. But then, you know, just kind of like after dropping that and really embracing it for what it is, and after rewatching the franchise and realizing, okay, you know, this is definitely better than, you know, a few of the releases. It felt good. It was like comfort food. I mean, and with the whole thing with Tony Todd, same thing. Like, I mean, man, like it was beautiful what they did, and adds more. And I wanna paraphrase on something, because Chris always talks about this. He talks about reading the booklets, you know, going behind like the people, you know, going behind the movie, the people that made the movie and the love that they shared for it. And after I did that with this Final Destination, it opened up a whole new like set of eyes for it, because the fact that these people let Tony Todd say what he wanted for the movie, and the fact that these guys were fans of the franchise besides just making a movie, and the fact that they did show those videos of, you know, the practical effects, it just goes to show how much love there was for it. And it's like getting a home cooked meal, man. Like it felt just like that. It was just like, I respected it, I appreciated it, I pre-ordered it, and yeah, it's something that needs a chance, and it earned it, man. Like it really earned that box office like money.
That's beautifully said, like a home cooked meal. I like that. That's exactly the vibe I got. And you know what this movie makes me want to do?
Watch it again.
Oh yeah,
that's what I was gonna say,
dude. And they made
it makes me want to shout, throw my head back. And shout.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
And one quick thing I want to throw in there, I love the fact that they kind of threw some subtle jabs at the new generation, which was nice, because they did it in a way where they did have an agenda, but it was a great positive agenda. You know, with the whole family thing, but also just those subtle jabs with what we saw in the trailer there with the Spotify playlist and all that stuff. Yeah. That was funny.
I really enjoyed that movie a lot. I'm glad some of you guys that saw it. I hope the guys that didn't see it get to watch it. But
I plan to. I plan to.
Agreed.
So Nick did message me. He's trying to get set up on his computer so that he can
okay.
hop back in. So he is working on that. All right. So Travis, thanks for bringing.
Can I just say, for those
Yeah.
who haven't seen it, you got to see it on the big screen. Like the
Yeah.
ending of the film, it was fantastic. The intro at the restaurant, the
Oh
high-rise
yeah.
restaurant.
Oh yeah.
You've got
That was,
to
like, weird.
see it in the theater.
Fuck that penny.
Absolutely.
Well, I gotta ask you
Oh.
guys. I want to ask the panel real quick, because I mean, again, everybody's seen it. We're not going to spoil it or nothing, but the ending. I don't know. I guess for me, that's the one thing I absolutely hated, and it
Whoa.
was I felt
I loved it.
I felt like it was kind of like I felt like the ending was lazy. Like I felt like it could have been something a little bit more creative, and it felt kind of like a cop out to reach
Well,
kind of use nostalgia.
without
know?
spoiling it,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, especially the nostalgia part, and I know what you're talking about. But so the movie opens on a certain location and it ends with a certain thing happening. So to me, the movie tied all the way. Well, not the premonition part, but the actual opening in present day. That tied the whole movie back in for me, and I thought that was actually kind of really cool. So I got really excited whenever. Without spoiling, I got
Yeah.
excited about the ending. To be honest with you, I kind of
Okay.
like how it ended. I also love the ending credits and how they do that. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, man, that was really cool.
Did you guys feel like the movie met your expectations, or like do you guys want to see sequels after this, or do you feel like it kind of works
bet-
on its own?
I
better
think it
bring their A
exceeded
game.
mine.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I want
it
more. I'll
it
definitely
exceeded
go.
mine, but they better bring their A game next time.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Awesome. Okay, David, did you still bring the same movie you told me ahead of
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
time? Okay, well, let's pull that one up here. And David, talking about Drop, are you not?
Yes, that is
Ooh.
correct.
Awesome.
Normally, Travis would know that I would go to the theater to see something, but I had to catch something on VOD because I have a newborn, and
Oh,
I do not want to
Congratulations.
leave my. Thank you. I do not want to leave my wife too long without having a little bit of help. So I did catch this movie here. Now, this isn't necessarily horror, but it's definitely a Hitchcockian thriller that goes a little bit dark. And plus, this is a Blumhouse film that also is directed by Christopher Landon, who did the Happy Death Day films. So
Oh.
I will say here is that I think this is probably something I like the first Happy Death Day. The second one, not necessarily horror. That one kind of goes more into the sci-fi. This one, he does well at capturing that Hitchcockian thriller vibe, though, because this one we have a widowed mother who. The reason that she's a widow is definitely kind of very dark and what happens there. But she goes on a first date that she met a guy through a dating app. And then they go to a restaurant. And while they're here, she starts getting it's a program they have, or an app they have called DigiDrop, but it's pretty much AirDrop, where they start sending her like creepy memes. And they end up forcing her to do some things where if she doesn't, she can check out her like nanny cam at home and sees that there is a masked man in the house with her son and her sister who is watching her son. And this kind of goes a little bit political thriller in what they're doing here because the guy she is with is a photographer for the local mayor. But what I kind of liked here is that they give us a whole bunch of, they figure out that the range of this has to be somebody in the restaurant with them. And they set up so many characters where they have a motive. And I thought that really kind of keeps your interest. And they actually do some interesting things with the cinematography and with reading the text messages. So you're not like looking down at her phone. They'll like display it on like the wall. It's only for us as a viewer, but I thought it was kind of interesting to be a way where you can be creative without kind of going back to the same well over and over again. And the acting here was, I thought, really solid to kind of make these people be red herrings. And I did feel at the end that the reveal, it ended up being one of those ones where I was like, oh, I guess I wasn't really thinking about it. And I was like, okay, it makes sense. But this still plays pretty well. And I enjoyed my time with this one. Yeah, did anybody else see this one?
I haven't seen it, but I remember seeing the trailer in the
Yeah.
theaters when I went to see The Monkey.
Right.
And it looked pretty intense. And I was like, you know what? I'd be down to watch that.
Yeah.
I wanted to catch this in the theater because it did look like it would be a nice big theater watch. Like the crowd could be into it, maybe.
I'll say the cinematography would have helped to see this one in the theater, just because of like they do these like tracking shots and stuff where they spin around the restaurant because it's in a high-rise building, so they're like 30 floors up or something along those lines, and they do stuff like that. But I do think this would work better if you could see it on the big screen. I mean, obviously now it's gone, but this would have been benefited by that for sure.
Dang.
Yeah, I will say Christopher Landon is 0-3 for me.
That's fair.
I can't stand either Happy Death Day movie. I thought Freaky was stupid as all hell. This finally felt, and I'm really happy that he did not get to do a Scream movie.
That's fair.
I forgot about that.
I was super happy that did not go through. But I read the Fangoria magazine article on this, and it got me excited. So it's on my list. It's on my radar.
This one looks a little more serious than any of his previous work.
Yes.
Yeah,
this
dude,
one there's a little bit of comedy in it, but yeah, this definitely is. I can see what you're saying. If you didn't like the Happy Death Day films, this one I think you might possibly like, but I wouldn't necessarily rush to it though either.
Yeah. There was a scene in the. So I like Happy Death Day 2 more than the first.
Okay.
Still don't like that movie.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I put on Happy Death Day, I stopped at the farting scene in the restaurant. I was like, okay,
yeah.
I was like, I'm checked out now. And then I went back and I finally finished it. But I don't know about you guys. I have kind of like an allergy to Blumhouse, where every time they put something out, it just makes me cringe in my seat, and I want to run away from it as fast as I can. I don't know if that's just me, but
more recent output. It feels like that.
Yeah, they're kind of like
I love what they're doing.
They're like the tween A24.
Yes,
I kind of feel that though. Like I will say, Blumhouse is they're not. I don't think they're geared towards hardcore. Not all the time. Hardcore horror fans, but I think what they're doing is getting people interested in the genre, and I think that's a great thing. So I support what they do mostly. Like there's some movies that I kind of. I watched Annabelle. That's kind of the one that I go back to and I say, look, the cinematography is great. The score is moody. The movie overall didn't work for me, but maybe there was a 14-year-old that snuck into the theater and now they're hooked and now they're going to go watch, more like Nightmare on Elm Street or something or the others from 2001. Like they're going to get into like the supernatural stuff or whatever. I'm kind of behind it. And look, it is what it is. This is now they've become a big Hollywood component. They just kind
paired up with Universal,
like it is, but they are fans of the genre. They all grew up watching the same movies, so I always give them the benefit of the doubt. And it's also I'm a big fan of the Conjuring series, unapologetically. I love Vera Farmiga and goddamn Patrick Wilson. They are my bays, and I can't wait for Last Rites. That shit looks dope to me. I know it's popcorn munching, but you know what? I also feel it in my heart.
Well,
so
what you said right there, it's popcorn munching.
Yeah,
I love what they're doing because they're this corner of the horror world. Like you were saying, it's a gateway for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it will bring more people to the genre by them making some more campier films. And, most of the time, I'm not going to tell you that every Blumhouse movie is a fantastic horror film. You need to go see it. But most of the time, I'm entertained. By them.
Agreed.
Did Blumhouse make Malignant?
No, they did not. No.
Okay.
Damn.
No, I will say though,
that's a wild film.
To give Blumhouse their credit, they did help make Halloween Ends, which is one of the best in the Halloween franchise. And now I'll go on mute.
No, you don't. You don't have to. For me, I'm with you. I love Halloween Ends and Kills. I love
the comment section is blowing. No, I'm kidding. It's not.
Hashtag Corey Cunningham rocks.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed Halloween Ends, so I can't.
Yeah, same.
I can't critique it. David, did you have anything else for us?
Nope. That was. I didn't have enough time to kind of knock anything else out, but yeah, that was my review.
I have a quick question about Drop. So I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I'm watching the trailer. It looks really stressful. I mean, I can stay home and be stressed out.
That's probably something I should have said.
That's the only reason why I haven't gone to see it, because it looks like it would drive me crazy.
That's probably what made me like it the most. Is it made me anxious start to finish, because I've been on like dates like this where like she's on her phone this whole time. Like I've not done that, but I've been on bad first dates, and that
Okay.
alone just made me being like, oh my god, like how is this guy still sitting here and dealing with this? And then just it was very stressful in the best way possible, and that kept me engaged at least.
Oh,
Aaron,
yeah.
have you seen
Yeah, okay.
Uncut Gems
Fair
with
enough.
Adam Sandler?
I have not yet.
Oh,
man.
my God.
No,
Oh,
Aaron,
dude.
have you seen it?
What was
Dude,
that?
you,
I
you
missed
don't
it.
know anxiety, man. If you haven't
Have-
seen Uncut Gems.
Oh, I
Adam
have the
Sandler.
most anxious movie ever.
Oh man.
Yes, that is true.
Okay, I just
But
wanted
I
to
didn't
know.
watch
'cause-
it in the theater, right? You can
Oh,
do
I
it at
did.
home.
Who?
Yeah,
I did. Oh,
Because
because
gosh.
that movie
Okay.
is stress inducing out the wazoo.
That was an experience.
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
speaking of stressful and anxiety inducing films, let's talk about Bring Her Back. So this is the newest film from the Philippou brothers. You might remember them from Talk to Me, another 3-word, 3-syllable horror title. This film has been making waves since its early screenings that left audiences visibly shaking. The attendees at recent viewings stating that they had to look away during certain scenes due to the intense visuals and emotional weight, and take that with a grain of salt. But critics have largely praised the film, highlighting the atmospheric tension and standout performances. Sally Hawkins, known for her roles in The Shape of Water and Paddington, delivers a chilling portrayal of a grieving foster mother, marking a significant departure for her usual roles. Adding to the film's intrigue is the breakout performance, and it is incredible, of Sora Wong, a 14-year-old Australian newcomer with no prior professional acting experience. She was discovered through a Facebook casting call. She brings her own experiences as a person with visual impairment to the screen, and it is incredible to see. From a production standpoint, the Philippou brothers returned to their roots, filming in South Australia over a 41-day shoot. Their commitment to the practical effects is evident, painfully so, achieving innovative techniques to ensure actor safety. And as for its reception, it opened this weekend. Bring Her Back has garnered strong critical response, 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, if you believe anything the people on there say. With all this buzz, it's clear that Bring Her Back is more than just a typical horror flick. So for me, I liked Talk to Me, but I did not love Talk to Me. I thought the first 2 acts were rock solid, but the third act left me on Talk to Me. So I'll be honest, I walked in to Bring Her Back with some apprehension. My expectations weren't low, but they weren't exactly sky high either. So I lost my spot. But here's the thing. I started seeing the reactions from many of you, many other horror Instagram people online, especially horror veterans, people who've been in the genre for years, including Nick's post about this movie was one of the ones I used to convince my wife to go see it. They weren't just impressed, they were moved. And that caught my attention because more than anything, when I sit down to watch a horror movie, I want to feel something.
Mm-hmm.
And the suspense, the terror, the dread, and did this movie succeed? I think it nailed all 3. And I mean this as a compliment when I say that the first hour felt like 2, not because it's slow, but because it is so full. It is thick with emotion, it is thick with tension, and it is thick with that character. We mentioned talking to Nick earlier, I got a feel for these characters before they go through hell. And this movie made me feel for just about every single character on the screen. The last 45 minutes are gone in a blink. It's 10 minutes in my brain. It gets that intense. So the things I love, the Philippous know how to balance light and dark. and not just visually, which I love in a horror movie. Give me sunshine. Not everybody lives in a super gray, dark, dingy world. We need sunshine. They balance that with lighting in their direction, but they also give us light and dark emotionally. There are moments in this film that are filled with joy and glimmers of hope, and it's makes it so much harder because when the darkness hits, they earned that by giving us these bright spots. It makes the darkness that much harder to swallow. They don't start bleak. They don't just beat us over the head with tragedy. They chip away at us slowly and carefully until all sunshine is gone and you don't even realize when it disappeared. So I went in mostly blind, and honestly, I'd recommend that. The title itself gives you the basic framework. You know what the story is about, but it's not the goal that matters. It's who's pursuing it, and that's where the movie shines. The character dynamics here actually reminded me of Hereditary, that raw, grounded, and brutal portrayal of family. It's real, it's flawed, and it's beautiful. And at its core, the film is about grief. We've seen that. It's about loss. And what we do with that pain. Do we rise from the pain of grief and make ourselves better? Do we grow from it? Or do we crumble, haunted by memories, becoming shadows of who we once were?
Good Lord.
So on our show, we break things down using a scorecard into a bunch of different categories. We score the story, which I gave this movie a 5. We score the character arc. I also gave this movie a 5. Everybody has an arc that is incredible. The music and sound design, I gave a 4. The sound design is incredible, but the music serves the purpose of the movie. It's not really a memorable score. The editing and special effects, I wanted to give this a 5 because the special effects are, you have to see it. But the editing, there are some things that I spotted immediately. It's in the trailer. There's a scene where the boy's pounding on the door that has blood on it. The next time we see that door, there's no blood on it. So little things like that I did notice in the film, and so I have to dock it on the editing for that. The script is 4. It's great. The acting is a 5. Amazing. The direction is a 5. I love the Philippou's use of longer tracking shots balanced with we get some ultra close-ups. We get some focus play, moving things in and out of focus that is fantastic. Our cultural significance and it factor, I gave it a 4 because there's a lot of buzz about this movie, but I won't know for now if it's truly a 5. But my overall entertainment value is a 9. And if you've listened to my show, you know the difference between a 9 and a 10 is a 10 means I will watch it again immediately. I do not want to watch this movie again immediately. So it's a 9. I do not want to turn around and sit through that experience again. I will see it again. Yeah. But that gives Bring Her Back a grand total of 45 out of 50 for me, which would translate to 4.5 stars out of 5. So how many of the rest of us saw that?
Oh, man. I want to say real quick, I'm going to go see it tomorrow morning, and your review of it made me... So I have a thing with kids in horror movies. I've only seen one TV trailer months ago. I don't even remember what was in it. All I know now is what Tim showed a second ago was the poster and the title. Mm-hmm. So I get it. It's a movie and there's a kid involved. Kids in horror are the only thing that makes me upset. Well, brother, I can hang with the best of them with everything, but like this, I'm going to see it tomorrow morning. Your review made me excited and even more. It's dread-inducing what you said, and that was a great little review that you did of it without spoiling fucking anything, man.
Yeah,
I can't wait to go see it. So I'll have to get back to you on that one. I'm gonna text you after I watch it.
Yeah, you better do that.
I felt like I was gonna say I felt like it felt like the perfect companion piece to Talk to Me. I would agree. Like Talk to Me, I really like the movie, but I think I don't know if it's just like the recency bias, or I'm curious to find out what you guys think about it. But I felt like that this was a little bit more fleshed out. I agree with you on the Hereditary vibes. There's definitely like, oh my gosh, the amount of anxiety that you have sitting through this movie, very, very like dread inducing over the course of the film. And there's some scenes that happen in there, the way that they play out, it made me so uncomfortable. I'm just sitting there in my seat, and it's just like, you're just like wondering when some of these sequences are over. Like, I'm like, how far are they going to take it for this? But I don't know. I think it's very, very promising, like what these directors are doing and everything that they're doing for the horror genre.
So I confess all the time on my show, I'm a crier when it comes to movies. I cry at dumb shit all the time. It's just me. This movie had me crying for multiple reasons. Like, and I'm not sobbing in my chair. I shed a tear twice from sheer stress. Like, oh my God. And then also from story. Like, it was one of those experiences for me.
And it's definitely tragic. I saw it last night, and I hadn't seen the trailer. I knew nothing about it. I went in completely blind, and I rarely do that. I did love Talk to Me. I'd say it's probably on par with Talk to Me if you liked it. I'm still processing it, though, so I can't say if I absolutely loved it just yet. But it's definitely one to see. They did a fantastic job. And there are a lot of oh my God moments, so prepare to be shocked.
Yeah.
There are some shocking moments for sure.
I'm so nervous based on what y'all are all saying about this
I'm
movie.
stoked, yeah.
And you'll value your teeth. I'm just going to say that.
Whoa!
I'll leave it at that. Be thankful you have teeth.
Nick, you saw it too. You want to get in?
Yeah.
Not to put you on the spot. Yeah.
Well,
No spoilers. Don't talk about the teeth.
I didn't give anything away, really.
I hate spoilers, so don't worry about that. So I actually share a manager with the Filippo brothers, and it's been kind of I went into the theater with a different experience. Like I intentionally told him, my manager, that I'm not watching any of the trailers. I love Talk to Me, and I want to go in as blindly as possible. And I love that we keep saying blindly, and it's kind of like a very dark pun, but I can't get it out. Every time I say it,
what you did there.
I'm like, I have to think of a different way to say that. But,
I didn't even think about that, but yes.
Yeah. So the one thing I was told beforehand, the only thing I knew about this movie, my manager said, yes, it's scary, but he said I wasn't prepared for how emotional it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay. And I also know that they wrote Talk to Me and Bring Her Back, like back to back. The studio wanted them to jump directly into Talk to Me too, but they were kind of working through a death in their family, and they did it with these two films. And Bring Her Back, boy, like you all said, that for the first I guess the first act, like you said, it wasn't slow, but I'm sitting there as a film watcher, as a fan, but I'm also sitting there as a person who is managed by the same person who manages the directors. So I'm like, please don't suck. Please don't suck. And once it picked up, I realized how they played me like a fucking piano. I mean, I rode that roller coaster the whole way through. The theater was so quiet once it ended. Mm-hmm. And everyone was just kind of like, we went through this shared experience and we need a support group now.
Yeah, it is same experience in my theater. Dead silent when the credits roll, just kind of like, oh wow, yeah. Okay, that wraps up our talk on Bring Her Back. So we are moving into the Curio cabinet portion of the show, which tonight is held down
I think that's me.
by Aaron.
Yeah.
That's all you, Aaron.
Yeah,
That is all you.
I'm so excited. So you gave me a little bit of a heads up, and I thought, what if I think back to some of the independent, lesser known films that I've watched in the last few months? So it's not specifically just May, mostly 2025, but a few leading up to it as well. I do have some physical copies here that I'm going to share, but basically, I'm just going to talk through these movies.
Yeah.
I think I'm in good company. So I know I'm in good company. So I wouldn't be surprised if you've seen some of these movies. So jump in if you have.
Do you want spotlighted nice and big so we can see what you're holding up?
I don't know. That's a lot of pressure. But whatever you think, man. It's up to you. Whatever you think. So the first one I want is Looky Lou. I don't know if anyone here has seen this.
We go.
There we go. Looky Lou. This one is Scream Team releasing. It's directed by Jason Zink and written by Nolan Myhale. This movie really took me by surprise. Has anyone seen it? And
I have not.
No?
I haven't yet.
So it's about a voyeur who gets a camera. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Gets a camera and starts spying on people, and then realizes he really likes spying on people. He starts breaking into their homes, spying on them. And then, I mean, you're probably getting Maniac vibes because there are definitely a lot of Maniac vibes here because that's a mannequin and he keeps it in his basement. He decides he's going to become a serial killer. And what's fantastic about this movie is that it starts out slow. He just follows people down like alleys, just people walking down a sidewalk, for example. And you're right there with them as they're walking and they don't know that they're being filmed. It's disturbing and there's very little dialogue. It's all just voyeuristic.
That's some creepy shit.
I'm in. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got this from Scream Team releasing, and you can see it's signed by the guys behind it. I think they still have copies. This was probably the most shocking, unexpected film I've seen in a while. So Looky Lou. I highly recommend it.
Let's check that out.
Definitely. If you guys see it, let me know what you think, because I'm a huge fan. I've got another Scream Team releasing here. This is Cannibal Comedian. Sean Heights directed this.
You did an interview with him, right?
I did interview these guys, yes. It's basically about a cannibal who has a dream of becoming a stand-up comedian. And that's exactly what he does. So if you're in the mood for some cannibal jokes, like what's been eating you lately, it's probably me. Things like that. Cannibal Comedian. I had a lot of fun with this one. I mean, going with low expectations, and it pretty much, the title kind of sums it up.
Hell yeah.
Yes. So that's a good one. Next, I've got He Never Left. I did interview the director behind this as well, James Morris, and this is about the pale-face killer. It's set on Halloween, but it's not. I mean, you can watch it in October. You can watch it around Halloween, but I think it's also a film you can watch at any time of year. Has some psycho vibes to it. I really like this one.
The cover art on that is fantastic.
Yeah,
I love
that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, you see the motel. That's why I said psycho vibes. He Never Left. I recommend that one as well. I've got Invited here.
Is He Never Left the prequel to Bring Her Back?
Wouldn't that be She Never Left? But yeah, that's a good one. I like it. Next up, I've got Invited. This was directed by Navin Ramaswaran. I did chat with this guy as well. It's streaming on Found TV, if you guys are familiar with that. Very low budget, but it's done so well. And the premise behind this is about a family tunes in on a Zoom meeting, just like this, to watch their daughter's elopement somewhere in Russia. And they gradually realize that she's marrying into a cult. Things go very badly. Has anyone seen this one?
No.
That's another one.
That sounds awesome.
Check out. That's a good one. Let's see. Beazle.
Yeah.
That's
Have you guys seen this one? Yeah, you
Fuck
know.
yeah.
That looks cool.
Oh
We
yeah.
talked.
this-
We talked to the director on the nightclub with that movie.
Yeah, Aaron
that's-
Fradkin. Yes,
Yeah,
I
man.
talked to him as well. This is cool. A really smart horror anthology that sort of covers multiple decades. I really liked that one. Another one to check out. I think that might be it for physical copies, but I do have a list. So let me just run through my list quickly. How am I doing on time? How am I doing on time?
You have the whole segment, so
I don't know what that means.
I'm gonna cancel my segment because I went over. I'm not really watching time too closely. So go for
Okay,
it, man.
well, I can go through this pretty quickly. Let's see. Next up, I have Bloodstar by Lawrence Giacomelli. I don't think this is streaming yet. I got a screener link, but be on the lookout for it. It's basically about a young woman who's traveling across the desert and starts to get stalked by a serial killer policeman. I'll leave it
Okay.
at that. Very good. Bloodstar is
Copy to
good.
proof.
That gives me
Yes,
some beginning of Stephen King's.
Desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it goes to some very dark places. Bloodstar, Little Bites on Shudder. You guys may have seen that one.
Yep, it's a good one.
Yep.
Spider One directed that. Yes, that's a great one too. The Conjuring tapes. If you liked the Christmas tapes, the Conjuring tapes is a new anthology by Wolfcat Films. Robert Livings and Randy Nundlaw directed that one. I think I have 5 more. The Winemaker by Emil Strom. It's a found footage film about a documentarian who goes out to the countryside with a winemaker to learn about how he makes wine. And let's just say there are some very dark secrets to his process. So that's called The Winemaker.
Oh yeah.
And that's also streaming on Found TV. So you guys can check that out there.
I picture in my mind. I picture someone jumping into those big vats, the wooden barrels of the grapes, but it's not grapes.
There's some secret ingredients. Let's leave it at
boy.
that, I guess. Next up, Uncontained by Morley Nelson.
Yep.
Kind of a smart take on the zombie subgenre. I really liked that one. If you are a fan of Uncle Peckerhead, check out Bloody Axe Wound on Shudder by Matthew John.
I've seen some buzz about that one.
Yeah, me too.
It's good. It's funny. It's horror comedy, very much in the vein of Uncle Peckerhead, and he does a really nice job with the score, with the music he brings into his films. It's kind of a meta take on the slasher genre, but it's really smart, coming of age, and there's some love in the mix too. 3 more. Project MK Hex by Gerald Waddell. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yep, that's a good one.
I was blown away. That was fantastic, right? Yes.
I don't know how you guys have all the time to watch these movies.
I wish.
I'm so jealous, man. I'm lucky to get like 3 in a week. You and David are always like, here's the 7 movies I watched before breakfast. And I'm like,
Man.
what the hell?
I do a lot of cardio at the gym. I watched it.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, Stop Motion by Robert Morgan. I think this came out last year, but it was fantastic.
It's a good one.
Crazy art there. Azrael by E.L. Katz, which I think is another Shudder film. But I love that there's no dialogue. And going into a movie without dialogue, kind of like Looky Lou, I'm always hesitant. But I think they did a fantastic job with that. Actually, I lied. 2 more. Dark Secrets, Game of Death, Chapter 2. Check that one out. Timo Rose directed. Furiaka. I have no fucking clue I have no idea how to say that. But if you like folk horror, check out Furiaka.
Oh yeah.
And lastly, I guess Grafted. You may have seen this, directed by Sasha Rainbow. That's what I came up with in 24 hours.
Fucking Uncontained. But Morley Nelson, the guy behind that, is a super sweet, super awesome guy. And
yes, he is.
We also talked to him on the nightclub and Joe Blow Horror Show, another show I'm on. But like that guy will talk to you. Watch his movie; it's so awesome, and it's
very cool.
It's good. Yeah,
he used his family and his own house to make this movie. Like
yes. So go ahead.
No, go ahead, Aaron.
I interviewed him too. I just haven't aired the video yet, but it was like, oh my God, it's like we're on set because he was in his house. So I was like, this looks familiar. And there's an element in the movie where the windows are bulletproof. And so
Yeah.
I had to ask him, are they actually bulletproof windows?
Did
And
you
they are
know that
not.
he was a
Spoiler
Chippendales
alert.
dancer?
That did not come up.
We actually have footage of that. Are you ready to see? No, I'm kidding.
Is that true? Is he really? I had no idea.
It's alleged, and he doesn't confirm nor deny it. But
Okay.
if you watch the movie,
Mm.
you won't want to deny it.
I can see it.
Yeah, I could
He
see.
stars
I
in
could,
it
now
as
that you
well as
mention
write and directs it.
Mhm.
So yeah, Uncontained is dope.
it. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Aaron, thank you
Those are
so
my
much for that. I
Yeah, thanks,
literally
Aaron.
invited you because you always have a stack of movies with at least 3 that I've never seen and at least 2 that I want to see, so that I haven't
cool.
already. So that's why I invited you.
Appreciate
I
it.
knew you would have a
Happy to be
stack of
here.
stuff that we needed to add to our list and get to as soon as we could. So thank you so much for that segment. We are headed to the physical media. This is covering the guys who collect those beautiful box sets, have already convinced me to spend more money than I should, left me on the verge of divorce. My wife told me it only costs $200, and that's less than some of the things I've purchased recently. So these guys are going to talk to you about recent 4K drops, and not just what movies you can get, but what incredible features they come with. So, Steven, you're kicking off the portion. What do you have for us?
Okay, so just to kick it off, I've got for the first title.
Do you want spotlighted too?
It doesn't matter, honestly. I swear.
Go for it.
Do it.
But
Yeah, do
whatever.
it. Do it.
Okay,
One
so
of
Make it
us.
huge.
the first title I got, Jason Goes to Hell.
Ooh,
Nice.
So
Yes.
That is
I get.
sick looking.
Yeah, I felt like when they Arrow Video initially put out the remake, what was it, like late last year? But I kind of figured that was going to be coming down the pipeline. They started doing announcements for this, and then once we actually had an official announcement for both of these films, this, and I'll talk about the other one after this. But I'm not gonna lie, like, I didn't really have a strong need to have these films in 4K necessarily, because I felt like the box set from Scream Factory was just like, it's like a crown jewel, I feel like, in my collection. But holy hell, these 4Ks look so good. But with this one, I was really impressed. Like, this is definitely a film that I feel like has grown on me over time. When I first started getting into these movies, I was not a big fan of this or Jason Goes to Hell, and I like that it's kind of, I've warmed up to it a little bit more, and I would say that this one is, I mean, I feel like the remake, just maybe because it's a little bit more recent that film came out, but the remake was probably the best looking out of these 3, and this one is like just trailing just shortly behind. But it's like loaded with special features on it. I mean, there's just so much love that was put into this release. I'm just curious, have any of you guys picked up this 4K?
Oh yeah.
That was a
I
gift
did. Oh yeah,
for me.
sure.
Yeah.
What'd
It
you
was a
guys
gift
think?
for me. That was
Okay.
one that I'm a big Friday. Friday's probably my favorite franchise. I know, like,
Same.
same.
I can get into fights over Nightmare on Elm Street, but I'm not a dream sequence dude. So Nightmare on Elm Street kind of loses me just a little bit. I love Freddy more than I love his movies.
Take that back.
But
Fighting words.
It's true. I like Freddy more than his films. The Friday movies, does anybody know, are they going to do all of them? Are we working backwards? I'm going to buy them all if they do, especially Jason Lives, because
It's probably
Yeah, it's going to be tough with the
Yeah.
with the who owns what.
Yeah, it's. I
Yeah.
think that Arrow Video, I believe, has the rights at least to these 3 films, and then kind of up in the air with Freddy versus Jason. But I mean, yeah, I think it's just a matter of time, I'm sure, before they start releasing the other ones in 4K through like as studio releases. But
Yeah, I mean, latest I heard was that they owned these 3 because of a deal with the New Line.
Mhm.
They could not get Freddy versus Jason because New Line is considering the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise to be an active franchise, so they will not license out the rights to anything with Freddy.
How about they do something with it?
Yeah.
Wait, you
Well,
didn't see
sorry.
the 4K box set just titled the Freddy 7 Film Collection?
Oh boy.
The Steelbook, and why is it $280?
Mm.
Because they know we'll pay
my
for it.
gosh.
They
No,
want
that's
your
true.
money.
Yes,
Has anyone pre-ordered it yet?
No.
I'd love to ask.
No.
I want to, but
I just
so much.
Yeah, that one I feel like is, I don't know. That one's kind of I want it, but I'm curious to see
Yeah.
what the Steelbook
Mhm.
box set has to offer and just a little bit more info on it. So I was really impressed with that one. And then naturally, obviously within the same order, you got Jason Goes to Hell. So I think that this one, it's not that I think necessarily like the quality isn't there. Like it's an overall like a really great release. I just think compared to the other two films, like with like the 4K presentation and like the transfer that they did, I just don't know if the source material is quite there where they can really elevate much more considering where like the film came from essentially.
Steven,
Yeah.
does that release contain the Adam Marcus documentary, the new one, Heart of Darkness?
No, I believe if I recall correctly, I didn't go deep dive into this just yet, like as far as the special features, but I don't believe. I think that's like
No.
separate.
I think it's gonna be a separate release.
Yeah, Hearts of Darkness is actually going to be like a full-blown theatrical release. So
He's promoting that, isn't he?
I was
Yeah.
supposed to see it
Yeah.
at Texas Frightmare this year, but unfortunately funds didn't allow me to go. But they
okay.
did screen the movie there, and I really wanted to watch it. I don't particularly love in my heart Jason Goes to Hell, but I love the
It's
background of
grown
it.
on me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just batshit crazy. Like there's no way there's no way other way to put it. I'm like, man, this
Yeah.
it's a cool concept. It's just so like you're just taking such a big swing on this
The
and
body horror, man.
Yep.
I hated it the first time I saw it. I
Same.
hated it
Same.
because I'm a Friday. I want
me
this.
too.
I want the camp. I want people dying at summer camp. That's even Manhattan is that's a rough film.
Oh,
and
I
it's
love man.
it's a
love
great
that.
film.
I got a soft
It's
spot
a
for
great
that
film,
one.
but it's a rough
Yeah,
one.
dude.
But Goes to Hell has grown on me. Every time I watch it, I like it more than the previous time. I love the concept, the new idea that it brings. Like, oh, he's just like possessing these people till he can get back to his body. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of here for that. My only complaint is, how many times do you have to shoot something before you realize it doesn't work? I just watched that movie.
Nope.
And I'm like, they have fired thousands of rounds into this guy, and he's still coming. When are you just going to put the gun down and run? But that's my
I
2 cents on that.
I do want to add, Steve, not to jump on you here, but
No, go for it.
Get him.
both of those Friday the 13th releases have incredible commentaries with Steve Barton, Uncle Creepy, who was one of the co-founders of Dread Central. Also, too, in particular, I want to shout out, there's a little write-up in the Jason Goes to Hell booklet written by Matt Donato, which I think is worth the purchase alone to read his 3-page write-up. I think that's in Jason X. I think that one's in that write-up, but it's an incredible little like piece of writing.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
Michael Felcher's the other one with Uncle Creepy on the commentary. For it looks like I just took notes, but Jason X.
Yep, founder of Red Shirt Pictures. Yep.
But I highly recommend both of them. I mean, I was just curious, like, have you guys had a chance, like, have you guys watched either of them? What was your guys' thoughts on them?
I saw Jason Goes to Hell. I thought it was fantastic. The 4K transfer. I mean that, like the intro alone, man, was awesome and so nostalgic. I haven't seen that movie since VHS, so it was a massive upgrade for me.
Yeah.
But I haven't touched Jason X just yet, and I cannot wait because same thing. I haven't seen that movie since VHS, so I'm excited to see that 4K crispiness of space titties. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Jason.
My
X,
Jason X just arrived, so I'm excited for that one.
Let's go.
to me, it's really hard to compare to Hell because Jason X most of the movie was shot digitally, but some was shot on film. So most of the 4K was restored from a digital cut of the movie. So it
Mhm.
doesn't have as big a difference, as big an improvement as I think Jason Goes to Hell does.
Yeah.
I also think Jason Goes to Hell like looks and feels like an actual movie. Jason
Yep,
X
I
doesn't.
agree.
So Jason X to me is sort of like the Robin in it. You know, what I mean, you have Batman, Jason Goes to Hell. He's a big guy. Jason X is kind of like the Robin in the collection. You know, it's great, but you're getting your money's worth with Goes to Hell.
For sure, for sure. And then the last one, I want to save the best one for last. So this last one that I'm going to talk about has like my highest recommendation. This I would consider probably so far. I mean, we're almost halfway through the year, but easily one of my favorite releases so far, and that is Ignite. Oh, Jesus Christ! Hold on, almost lost the whole box set. Reanimator.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
yeah.
That's beautiful.
yeah, from Ignite Films. So,
The
man,
box just looks like it feels good.
it almost ended up on the floor just now,
Describe the
Down.
texture of it.
dude. It's
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
they.
Damn.
Fat box.
Whoops.
I'm
Dude,
gonna have to get that.
I
Is
bet
it
that
sold
Nothing
out?
on the back. No, I believe for the deluxe box set that's still available last time I checked, but listen, I'll tell you what, like I was so surprised that Arrow wasn't the one who ended up doing this release, because they did like those nice Blu-ray box sets previously. And Ignite Films, like hats off to them, because they knocked this out of the park. A lot of the legacy special features are carried over with this one, as well as they have like a booklet that's in here, so lots of like different interviews that they did specifically for this release. Overall, I was so impressed with how nice this transfer looked. It's like, I would say, like almost a night and day difference compared to the Blu-ray set. Not sure if you guys have had a chance to check it out, but this is definitely up there for me so far, I swear.
Yeah, I mean, I think that release alone is worth picking up if you're a Stuart Gordon fan, because there is a 1977 produced documentary on there about the Organic Theater Company, which was Stuart Gordon's theater company before he started directing. And it's incredible because what he did in theater is just as provocative as what he ended up doing in film. And I think that documentary alone, for film buffs, you know, cinephiles, is worth price of purchase alone.
For sure.
Well, I just got to watch this in the theater for the 40th anniversary.
Oh, that's sick.
It
What
was
an
so
experience.
cool. It was so cool seeing, and we had a crowd. They were all into, like, obviously the people going to the 40th anniversary are going to be into it, but everyone was into it. It was one of the most perfect experiences that
How do you think it looked overall, or sounded?
it looked and sounded just fine. I don't know. I think it was supposed to be like a restored version. But you know, it looked good. It wasn't blurry or anything. Like, it didn't look like I was watching it on a tube TV on a VHS cassette. So it was good. I really enjoyed it. I was kind of hoping they would have had like a special introduction or maybe like an ending to the movie, but no, it was just straight up the movie played and that was that. But that's fine. It's cool to see it on the big screen.
Yeah.
I think it's just my impression. It sounds like Ignite Films. I believe they have the rights for obviously Bride of Reanimator and then maybe Society. But if that's the case, though, I mean, man, it's in good hands. Like, I can't recommend this one enough. Like, if you guys are big on Reanimator, this is my highest recommendation.
Awesome. So, Chris, you've already been doing what I asked you. The reason why I asked you to be part of this is highlighting those write-ups and the commentaries and that extra bonus stuff that comes with these movies that people spend time and effort putting together, and you highlight that so well on your stuff. What have you brought?
All right, so this is really tough because physical media is funny. What is considered May release is what is considered June. It's stuff that some people got in April. So I had to figure out what was recent that I felt was impactful and had something that I needed to tell everybody to watch. So first, I want to highlight a smaller label now. So I want to chat about Celluloid Dreams and their release of 1971's Short Night of Glass Dolls.
Let's go.
Oh, let me get that.
So,
Let me get
dude,
you.
this
you
is
want highlighted.
The movie's wild.
Hold that up there. Yeah.
Put him on the
So-
jumbotron.
Don't be shy, Chris.
This is thick hardbox.
Oh.
The booklet doesn't fit in perfectly, but it is in there. This is a
I love a thick hard box.
So
Sorry.
this is directed by Otto Lotto, who probably most people would know for Night Train Murders. But this was kind of a heavily underseen giallo for a long time. And what's really funny about this movie is, especially if you want to compare it to Night Train Murders or the first Celluloid Dreams release, which was Case of the Bloody Iris, this is a totally different ballpark.
Mhm.
There is barely any violence in this movie, and it's slow as a turtle, man. This movie is like an absolute crawl to get through, but it's worth every bit of it. The payoff is so good. It feels almost like in a league of its own. Like if you compare this to other late 60s, early 70s giallo films, it feels just completely separate from it. And I think Celluloid Dreams absolutely gave this thing the dream treatment. The restoration is beautiful. A lot of people don't know that the restoration team at Celluloid Dreams is only 2 people. So
Oh, wow.
2 people put this entire package together. You have, I believe, 2 brand new commentary tracks on here. There's also a bunch of interviews, some of the last interviews with Otto Lotto. And then the booklet in here has a beautiful write-up just kind of exploring his career. And I think it's worth reading because it's interesting to hear about a director whose goal was to not exploit violence or nudity, and how he explored the genre of filmmaking by not doing that. This comes with a little bit of a price tag. I mean, this is like a $55 release, but I promise you guys,
Totally worth it.
worth the investment. It's worth it alone just to continue spreading the word about this movie.
This is how they trap you guys.
Does it also have like a jazzy rock crazy Italian horror movie from the 60s 70s soundtrack?
It is funky. It's not as funky as you would expect.
Yeah.
not as funky as you'd expect. But I will say this has anybody on here remember the Stephen King anthology series Nightmares and Dreamscapes?
Mm-hmm.
There is a story in that's very similar to the overarching plot of this movie that involves somebody. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Celluloid Dreams. That's still available, that limited edition. I think if you get it directly through their web store, you get these massive lobby cards. They're gigantic. I don't have them in front of me because they're like the size of my Day of the Dead poster in front of me, but you do get those. This next release is technically the street date still isn't there yet, but everybody has it. And I can't highlight physical media without bringing this one up. I'd be a psychopath not to. This is from Grindhouse Releasing. This is Fulci's The Beyond.
Hell yeah, boy.
Let's go.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I got that one.
And hold on, ready? I'll show. Let's slide this out.
That Louisiana cosmic horror swamp donkey madness.
This is your disc holder right here. So the Book of Ivan disc holder. Let me flip this around.
I bet
I
it
love
smells
that.
great too.
I love that.
Dude, I can't even begin to list off, in my opinion, the importance of this. I mean, the 4K restoration looks absolutely incredible. Grindhouse Releasing was touring this thing for what felt like years before it actually
long.
This is 6 discs. So it is one.
Good Lord.
Yep, you got 1 4K, 3 Blu-rays, a DVD, and a soundtrack CD. So, believe it or not, on my podcast, I was able to list off everything that was on this without looking. I have now forgotten. So you get the theatrical version of The Beyond and the composer's cut on 4K, which the composer's cut is the same movie just with a reworked score. You also get that same release on the Blu-ray. There is a solid extras disc on here with a ton of interviews. I would bet there's probably 15 hours of interviews on this
Oh,
disc.
wow.
It's out of control.
Good lord.
Then there's a fourth disc of just archival extras. So all extras that have been done and released before. You do have the DVD release of the original cut of the movie called Seven Doors of Death. That is available on here. And then you have the composer's cut on CD, which CD over vinyl for me when it comes to listening to movie scores. I don't know if I'm alone in that boat, but the vinyl explosion can go fuck itself if we're allowed to curse on here.
I've been cursing, so I hope we are.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
paying
all right.
$80
I
for
slipped
a
up
10
too.
for a 10 a 10 song soundtrack of a 1970s movie just to have it on vinyl. I'm sorry.
So
No,
the people
I love vinyl, but same. So
Grindhouse Releasing looked at the Lord of the Rings box sets from back in the day and said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, look, while the behind the scenes on here is not as comprehensive as that, I think how many discs did the Lord of the Rings trilogy span? 9
Well-
discs of just behind the scenes, right?
Right? Yeah, it was massive. It was ridiculous, and I
Yeah.
loved every minute of it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, this is incredible. The initial launch price for this was $66.66, which was very fitting.
Yes.
Ooh.
Movie looks
Yeah.
incredible. I think you have plenty to get into. I think there's like 6 commentary tracks across this guy. So this is one that I have to shout out. It is, I think, still available. I'd have to double check. But yeah, Grindhouse Releasing, and this is the first time they've ever done a big box release like this. So this was incredible, and hopefully more to come. I'm hoping for a Cannibal Holocaust big box release like that.
Give me pieces.
Yeah,
I want pieces.
give me Hollywood 90028. Give me Cat in the Brain. And
Yeah,
this big box,
that's
you know what I
true.
mean? I'm here for all of it.
I wish there would be a Evil Dead 81 release like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
So
a friend of ours.
So a friend of ours commented on Grindhouse Releasing's post about them touring
Forgot
Evil
about
Dead on
this.
4K, and he said, are you guys teasing a potential 4K disc release by doing this? And they flat out just said no.
They did that to me too,
No.
dude. I was commenting the same thing, and they just like in all caps, no.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So
they
final
draw the
title.
line.
I do have one in particular reason I think you need to buy this. I mean, there's a bunch, but I want to talk about Second Sight's release of The Brood on 4K.
Love this movie.
Dude, clearly, I mean, if you've seen The Shrouds, this is arguably his most personal film. I think The Shrouds probably is more personal, but The Brood is incredible. This 4K looks fantastic, but I have to say, in this, for anybody who collects Second Sight, these aren't booklets. These are flat out like books. They're like 120 to 150 pages.
That's a novella.
There is a write up in this book. I'm going to find it right now. That runs for 12 pages, called "Loving the Children of My Rage: My Personal Response to David Cronenberg's The Brood" by Jen Adams, which tells a story of, for those who have seen The Brood, would be able to connect the tissue here. It tells her personal story of divorce and of her position in her relationship as the woman and in the relation, what she went through. I never expected to read an essay that actually kind of made me put this down, that I had to just kind of sit back with. I absolutely admire it. I've been trying to find her on social media just so I could reach out and be like, hey, look, I campaign. My friends, specifically GC, like to call me the bearded booklet guy, because I'm always out here like telling people to read your booklets. For the $50 price tag, Second Sight gives you a ton of interviews. You get a brand new commentary. It's a beautiful release, but this book alone, worth the price of admission. Just have to say. So this is still available. I know places like the Movie Room and Diabolic still have this available. I think it's like $48 on average. Worth every bit. And I'm not going to highlight this one too much. I just want to tell people to buy it. Indicator did put out Jean Rollin, Girls Without Shame. This was originally on the stack for me to talk about. This is one of my favorite pulpy horror films ever. It's kind of combined with a soft core movie. It's fantastic. And if you want history on the French sex film movement in a nutshell, this release from Indicator gives you all of that. So I just had to shout that out.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Good choices.
Thank you.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that insight
awesome.
and the way you highlight stuff. I love The Brood. I made my siblings sit through The Brood a long time ago, and I will still send my sister photos from the end of that movie, and she sends me all kinds of hateful messages back, but I do it just to mess with her, and it's a great time because it's a great film. It's so good.
I mean,
All right.
if you haven't sent that to her, and like if you ever get mad at her, just send her the photo of the external sac and say, like, just as a reminder, this was how you were born.
Frequently, I'm not going to take the time to go back to the messages, but I've sent it probably 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Hey," she's like, "I hate you," but movie is so good. So originally, we advertised that the Movie Den was going to be joining us tonight. Life happens, and GC from Face the Movies is filling in for that spot today, and did so with an hour of notice. Thank you so much for being here. Excited that you're here. What goodies have you brought?
Well, I just want to start off by saying that to have to follow up after The Wolf of Wall Street in the movies, over here, like it's going to be hard. But I'm going to do my best. So some of the movies that I'm talking about, they're not new releases, but they are new to me. And the reason why is because I am finally region unlocked. So I've been able to partake in. Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's been amazing. Like it opens up a whole new world for film, but also a whole new world for being broke. And obviously Chris and Steven have done an excellent job at getting me to buy any. I mean, it's just literally like I've said before, and I'll always say that these guys, put them in a room or in a group chat, and they just mention just the first 2 or 3 words that come out of their mouth. It's like, all right, I'll buy it. Like, you don't, but I want to talk about a release that unfortunately I couldn't get the chunky box set, but I was able to get this one on sale at this website called Monster Mall. And I was just so excited because at the time I didn't even realize that it was available, and it's by Second Sight.
Oh, yeah.
And it's called The Sacrament.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's Ty West?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say this movie. So for me, I could watch any type of horror, and the only thing that scares the absolute crap out of me is the human psyche. I mean, the fact that this is based, like it's loosely based. It's inspired by the Jonestown Massacre from 1978. Mm-hmm. Pretty much, the running joke when they say "Don't drink the Kool-Aid."
Right.
And this is something. When I saw this was available, I was just like, man, I want to see the behind the scenes. I want to hear what their thought process into making this movie, because it's so fascinating to me, the fact that like some people could just get sucked into this type of cult mentality, and they could see things going wrong. Like as you'll see in this movie, you start noticing certain things that are very suspicious, but yet people kind of turn a blind eye. And to me, I've always found the psychology behind that so just incredibly fascinating. Or also like the movie, like the Stanford Experiment, right? Based on true story. How within just a few days, they were able to convince these people that they were in a real prison. And I mean, again, there's a book based on this, and it's just, I'm not going to go too much into it just because of the time, but it's highly
There's a
recommended.
German movie called Das Experiment that covers that, and it's very disturbing.
I got to check that out. I haven't seen it, man.
I think it was 20 years ago. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry to jump in.
No, not at all. I mean, I love talking to people that share this type of mentality with these type of films, because it's scary, man. Scary the fact that these things have actually happened, compared to like Tim was saying about for Freddy Krueger, right? Like it's scary because somebody can get you in your dreams, but at the same time, it's a fictitious character, so it's not as plausible. And another movie I'm going to jump into is by Wes Craven. This one I haven't seen since back in the VHS days, and it is The People Under the
Oh
Stairs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Man.
They're
Oh,
supposed to
yeah.
be doing a remake for that.
This I heard about
Oh
that,
no.
and I'm
Yeah.
scared.
Scared, yeah, about that. Yeah.
But this cover alone, when I saw this, I got this on sale too. I think I got it for like $8.99 on that website, and I mean, I was just like, oh my god, I haven't seen this since forever. And one of the special features that has me extremely excited is pretty much talking about underneath the floorboards. Jeffrey Reddick, which is a creator of the Final Destination series, and he recalls the lasting impact of the People Under the Stairs. And that's so cool. Like to me, it's like I love the Final Destination franchise. So to be able to hear him talk about how this movie like influenced them, it's such a treat. And again, I haven't seen this since VHS days, so to be able to see it on Blu-ray, I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna hopefully be blown away.
Dude, you're gonna enjoy that. I
What's
know
the
that.
reverse art on that? I haven't seen that cover.
Well,
I just cut someone
I'm
off.
gonna go ahead and
Oh, yeah, pull that beauty
Oh,
out.
it's the
Ooh,
The
Oh.
OG.
oh
I
yeah,
like that.
and then
Nice.
I love that
Yeah.
artwork. I haven't seen
I
that.
like
That's
that.
cool.
like they crushed it, man. I see they caught my eye, and before I even saw the title, I was like, wait a minute, no way. And yeah, I'm so excited for us. Rest in peace, Wes Craven. I mean, this is something exciting. This is by Arrow. I know I probably didn't mention it, but and then
So
last,
the remake is
Yeah.
supposed to be Jordan Peele, by the way. So
Produced.
depending on how you feel about Jordan Peele,
I like his
well,
stuff so far.
yeah, he's a talented filmmaker. So I haven't lost all hope for the remake like I normally would, but we'll see.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's like
he'll
kind of like the
produce it,
whole
100%.
Batman thing with what was his name? The guy from Twilight, where they were saying
Robert Pattinson.
exactly like people were upset, or with the same thing with Joaquin Phoenix being Joker. We're all kind of freaking out, and then these two movies came out, and we're like, wow, like all right.
Yep. Yep.
But last but not least, this is a grail for me. This is one of the grails, and I'll admit, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I hadn't seen the original up until last year when I started my YouTube channel, and I made a whole video on it talking in depth on this movie. And this is by a gentleman, I'm sure you guys may or may not know him, but it's George A. Romero.
Mm-hmm.
And
Who's that?
the
Hell
this-
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
I mean,
Amazing. Yeah.
this
Lord.
Wow, that
This-
is a fatty.
this
Easy, easy.
it's heavy. It's heavy. You know, I'm in this group chat with Chris and Steven and a few other dudes, and they were helping me out, try to track this down. Whenever they saw anything come up, you know, they would send me information. And honestly, I couldn't justify paying like the $300 that was price tag on eBay. And then this came up on Facebook, and somebody was selling it at such a low price, brand new, that I thought it was fake at first, but I received it, and this is the Blu-ray. It's a 4K transfer on the Blu-ray, but the guys gave me the idea where I could just get the 4K discs and swap them out, and I'm still saving a ton of money. Now, with this, I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and open it because this is
Please do.
incredible. First of all, I want to start off with the booklet. I mean, the two books. This is a novel, and I mean,
Cool.
it just
Fresh book smell.
fresh booklet smells
He's got that new
amazing.
book smell.
Oh yeah, it smells like it just got printed out.
Nice.
And then we have, I mean, talking about booklets. I mean, Chris is gonna be proud. Look at this.
Which I've read that cover to cover. So
This is I mean, incredible. Like the detail, like this is just, I'm excited to dive into this. I just got this a week ago, and then I already listened to the soundtrack. I was making a joke, but I was like serious about it behind the scenes. So yesterday I was playing the soundtrack, and one of the songs that comes up when the zombies first come out, I was playing with my dog yesterday, and as soon as the song starts playing, my dog just kept getting more and more aggressive.
Okay.
It was hilarious, but definitely exciting. And I mean, yeah, this is the four discs where you have like the Blu-ray that has the special features, and then the other three discs are the cut. So I already dived
So
into the
nice.
special features, and they were phenomenal. I was watching the behind the scenes footage of the making, like the people, you know, that were the zombies, and they recorded with their, I believe it was what was it? I think it's 8mm or something like that.
Do they have the mall cut in there?
That's a good question. I know it has the. Let me see here. It has a theatrical cut, the extended Keynes cut, and the Argento cut.
Mhm.
I've only seen the theater cut, so I haven't seen the other ones just yet.
The Argento cut is a lot shorter and a lot quicker.
Mhm.
The malt cut is the longest, most comprehensive. But that also might be a fan edit, so they might
Yeah.
not
Yeah, I
have
think
that.
that
in there.
is.
Yeah, so that's the longest cut on there is the can cut, which in my opinion is the definitive, and that runs I think 131 minutes. I think.
Okay.
Uh,
But last but not least, which is oh damn it! Of course, I leave the soundtrack inside my CD player. But but yeah, this just imagine one of the discs over here. But yeah, but yeah, the other three soundtracks, compilations, and stuff, and I was listening to the Goblin cut. So, I mean, just I guess I gotta say, guys, I mean, it's been an absolute treat being able to get these releases and start adding to the collection these box sets, because I mean the love and care that people put into them behind the scenes, these books. I mean, going back and interviewing these these directors and cast members and all that, it's just I just recently did a podcast episode on Demon Knight. I'm sure you guys remember
Oh yeah.
Tales from the Crypt.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Yeah, Billy
watching
Grew up on
Zane.
that.
Yeah.
I highly recommend, if you haven't, pick up that Blu-ray and watch the behind the scenes and the making of it, because I learned so much about it. And this is kind of just me throwing in the fourth movie into this as my
Sneaking
bonus,
it in there.
sneaking it in there, just my bonus one. But one of the key takeaways that I learned was that movie pretty much is what even the director said got Billy Zane the role for the Titanic. And also the role that
Really?
yeah, they were talking about it. Even Billy Zane says it behind the scenes. He said how because he played that villain so well in Demon Knight is what
So cool.
inspired for him to be in the Titanic. And not to mention, it was his first debut as being bald. Nobody knew that Billy Zane was bald, and he would wear wigs all the time, especially in the Titanic. And when he showed up for the casting for Demon Knight, the directors, he showed up with a suitcase with 3 wigs, and the directors were like, "What? Are you kidding me right now? We're seeing Billy Zane bald." And he's like, "Yeah, which wig do you guys want me to wear?" And they were like, "Nope, no wig. We want you to be in all your bald glory." And that's what helped sell his
yeah.
character. But yeah, that's my
I love
my
that.
stuff. So thanks, guys, for letting me be on the jumbotron over here.
Thank
Oh,
you.
No, thank you so much. Literally an hour before we go live, we are messaging, "Hey, you're in? Yeah, awesome." And you're here, you're prepared. I love it. Thank you so much for being willing to do that.
Dude, are you kidding? Like the opportunity to be able to jump on and hang out with you guys. Some of you guys I've never met before. I'm probably never seen your channel, and I'm just excited to delve in. Nick, I've never read any of your books, and now I'm pumped, dude, to like read some of your books. I don't know if you could hear me, but just in case. Okay, good. Yeah.
I love how that's been a running gag throughout the whole episode.
I was like, I wish I knew sign language or something, just to like. But yeah, I'm grateful to be here, guys. Thank you so much for letting me in, especially last minute, and letting me
Can I
ramble
throw
on.
in a quick Dawn of the Dead thing?
Yes.
So I have a fellow author named Duncan Ralston, and we like to troll each other on social media by going to Cameo, which if you don't know what Cameo is, it's all these celebrities from the top, A-list celebrities will sometimes go on there, all the way to like just random people on YouTube. So it's a gold mine for actors from the golden age of horror,
Mm.
and you can pay them to say anything. So my friend, I got Bill Moseley to insult Duncan and trash his book, and then he comes back and hires Ken Foray, and I was sick with norovirus at the time, so he has Ken Foray fucking do a video and say, "I hope you die from norovirus."
That is awesome.
Wow.
So that's my
That is
connection to
amazing.
Dawn of the Dead.
10 out of 10.
That's hilarious.
So on that note, GC pumped to buy Nick's books. Nick, where can people find your books? Where's the best place for them to grab your stuff?
Well, the collectors who like signed first editions can go to my website. It's www.nickrobertsauthor.com. I sell them. I have my inventory, and you can get them at any. Of course, they're all on Amazon, Audible, in every format. They're in bookstores, wherever you prefer to get your books. So
The audiobooks are top quality too. That I have Anathema on Kindle and audiobook and read them simultaneously. So definitely go check out his books. Excellent books. And that wraps up our very first episode of the Dread broadcast. So we want to sincerely thank each and every one of you for tuning in, whether you're watching live or catching the replay. This is something new, something experimental, and it means the world that you spent your evening with us.
We especially want to give a massive thank you to our special guest tonight, Nick Roberts, author of The Exorcist House, Mean Spirited, the Anathema series, and so much more. Nick, your work continues to terrify, and having you with us for this first episode was a true honor. You set the bar pretty high.
Thank each and every member of the panel for being here. And if you're not behind the scenes, you don't know, each was invited to do what they do best. Come on here, show you a little bit about what they do on their channels, and talk about horror with the rest of the community. So thank each and every member of you on the panel for being here. Seriously, if you're watching this and you enjoyed it, please share this, post it, tag your horror loving friends, and send it in your group chat. Word of mouth is everything. This community grows because of people like you.
And we'll be back at the end of June for episode 2 with another incredible lineup, including a special guest known for slasher novels that mix brutal horror with Mean Girls energy. Oh yeah, you're going to want to be there for that episode.
So this is just the beginning. The Dread broadcast is meant to be a space where horror lovers, creators, collectors, writers, and fans come together each month to celebrate, critique, and dig into what makes this genre so damn addictive.
And if you're a horror creator who wants to be a part of the future panel, reach out. We're building a rotating cast with some monthly mainstays, and there's always room at the table.
Because, like someone on this panel wisely said, the things we love keep getting more expensive, but community is free. And that's the soul of what's going on here.
Thanks again for watching. Share the love, stay spooky, and we'll see you next time on the Dread Broadcast.